guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Dick Norris Buick GMC in Palm Harbor, Florida, and what we have to feature today is this 2019 GMC Acadia Denali. So let's talk a little history lesson about GMC. GMC's been around, General Motors Truck Company, since 1909. It was General Motors that combined with another company called Rapid Motors that already existed. Those two came together. That's where we get GMC. Let's talk about the name of this car. Acadia. If you're an outdoorsy kind of person, Acadia is actually a large, beautiful national park up in Maine. And then when you add the highest trim level that GMC offers to their vehicles, the Denali, that, remember, is the mountain range that's up in Alaska, also known as Mount McKinley, which was named after one of our presidents. Did you know those facts? Write them down. There's going to be a quiz at the end. But let's go ahead and talk about the Acadia. The Acadia's been around since 2007. In 2017, things got a little different. They wound up putting it on a different platform from its sister car, the Chevrolet Traverse. What I love about the front end of this Acadia is just how clean and sculpted it is. I love the headlight housing. You can see the GMC logo in there. As we drop down, this beautiful pearlescent white paint drop down. Love the silver chrome finish, the fog lamps down here. And what's also nice is the type of plastic that they use, it's going to be able to take a beating instead of that gloss black finish. As we work our way across the front, really good looking upper and lower grille. With that Denali package, this is that special grille that I don't care what GMC vehicle you're looking at, you get this beautiful chrome grille, GMC logo. Love the shape, and I think it just fits the platform of the front of this car spot on. As we come down, they took more of that beautiful grille down in this area, some chrome that goes all the way across, and then just to really just wrap it all together, they add some extra black plastic in there. And I think that was smart, because if they would have brought the grille all the way over, I think it would have not balanced well with the top portion. So I think what they did perfectly makes sense. As we go up under the hood, two very nice lines on the centerpiece, and then some that are going to go off on an angle. Really thinks it adds that personality, and that is so hard to find in the SUV market, because remember, this is a mid-size CUV, and to stand out, you're really going to have to put personality, because there's a lot of competition, a lot of different ones to choose from. As we come to the side, really like the way that they have this separated fender piece here, and it's not just plastic. It's more of that beautiful, sparkling white paint wheels. Love the style. I love the darker gray with the brushed aluminum, GMC logo in there. Really, really just makes sense. And this is a 20-inch wheel. So this is also part of that Denali package, not just a grille that they slap onto the front. You're also getting a nice setup with the wheels as well. And it just works with the white. Perfect. As we go down the side, I like the way they take the chrome trim. You got a little bit of gloss black. They spilled the paint nicely onto the mirror. The only thing I would like to see is maybe some LED turn signals, slim and trim, built into this mirror. Another thing I think is very smart is the way they took not only the chrome on the top, but also on the bottom. Perfect placement, Denali logo. I don't think this should sit any higher. If it was any higher, that logo, it would throw off the proportions. Really nice the way they wrap around the lower sill with a flat black across the bottom portion. And then I'm really digging these door handles. I normally don't really put a lot of focus on door handles, but I like the chrome, and I like the way that they filled in the center more with that beautiful white sparkling paint. Even the entry button to lock the doors and whatnot is a nice silver chrome finish. It's just the little fine touches that, to me, add up to the big picture. Speaking of the big picture, to get up top, you have these nice roof rails finished. I'm glad they didn't go too glitzy. It's almost like a brushed aluminum, sort of like on the wheels. With the crossrails, you could get your crossbars to the roof rails and mount whatever you want. You can see 6 feet tall. It's going to be a little bit of a reach to get up there, but it's nice that it's like that. And I also like the way they're raised. So many of these SUVs and CUVs have them to where they're just kind of popping up from the paint. I like the raised look. It really gives it more of a nice finished appearance. Really love the back window here on the door as it comes in, and then you have a total separate rear quarter window. Very, very smart. I think what helps this car just look good is this gloss black that just makes it wrap around. It almost looks like it's one complete piece of glass that's been molded by a torch to wrap around the back. You have a nice roof spoiler that comes out just enough. If I'm gonna zonk it, what is this? What is going on here? This is a Denali. I would like to see the shark fin style make the top of this truck look much better, especially if you're gonna be putting stuff up there. Trust me on that. The back, I like the way it just comes flat back, doesn't protrude. You know, some of these SUVs are, you know, it's the way they're looking, it just kind of looks a little bulbous. I like the way this is flat. You got the chrome, GMC, the Acadia, and then to wrap it up, when you thought there wasn't enough chrome you could add, they even added to the lower portion, which I think was great, because if they painted this white, I think it'd make the rear end look a little too fat, a little too heavy. Very smart, clean look with the exhaust. Now they are vacuum cleaner style, which I think they fit this style of car. If it was a quad tip exhaust, it probably wouldn't work. But I'm digging on this particular car the vacuum cleaner style exhaust, especially the way that they bring it just enough to the bumper, not past it and not too sunken in. I think that's really what's helping the overall look of this. But let's go ahead, pop the hood, and see what the heck is powering this GMC Acadia Denali. All right, guys, underneath the hood of this GMC Acadia Denali, I like the way just one hood strut, a nice large one, really opens up the hood, under the hood area. So what are we looking at there? That is going to be a 3.6 liter V6, 310 horsepower, 271 foot-pounds of torque. It's mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. If you're wondering, well, what are MPGs? You're looking at about 18 in the city, 25 on the highway. What's nice about this vehicle is that, guess what? It's made right in the good old US of A in Tennessee, Spring Hill, Tennessee. So lots of connections across the United States with this vehicle. You got the park in Maine, you got Mount McKinley in Alaska, and then the actual Acadia is made in Tennessee. Let's go ahead and hear what this V6 sounds like. Let's go fire it up. All right, guys, time to check out inside this 2019 Acadia Denali. I'll be honest, there's a lot of nice finishes in here. I would kind of like to see GMC take some of these finishes and bring them into the Sierra truck. I think they would have a home run. Let's go to the door panel. The good news is there's not any black. The bad news is there's a lot of beige. Now, GMC did a great job with trying to break that up. There's this lighter faux wood around where the window control switch is. You have nice leather on the armrest, and it goes all the way with soft finishes all the way to the top. It reminds me of the Camelback interior in the Ford like King Ranch setup or the Limited. So the beige and the darker brown, it's been growing on me. Maybe that's just me getting older or something, but I'm a little taken aback by how much beige is in here. Let's go to the dash though. You have that same brown goes from the door panel onto the dash, a little bit of that faux wood. What I don't understand is why didn't they connect this? I don't know why it stopped short. Maybe they ran out of material or something. I don't know, but it just seems a little unfinished. But I'm glad that they made it cohesive by bringing it from the door. I do like this area here. There's this like darker silver trim that goes around the infotainment system. I personally would like to see a little bit nicer material around the air vents, and then this darker black plastic. I'd like to see them do something different with that, but I'm glad to see that the silver separates AC controls from the radio controls. Now when it comes to infotainment, great looking system, very easy to use. Look at all the different cameras you have on this thing, so that makes life a lot easier. You can see you turn the wheel and it moves the direction for you, so that's a really wonderful thing. And you see it works really easy. You could go into your rear climate controls if the kids are complaining and you're like, listen, if you don't stop complaining, I'm going to make it really hot back there. You could do that. You could cook them. You could roast them like a Thanksgiving Day turkey. But very nice to have that flexibility of controls, navigation, graphics are clear. Everything is, you can see they got all the words all over the place of all the different streets around here. So very nicely done. AC controls, easy to understand, easy to use. You got your dual climate, so that's really nice. And I like the way that once you touch the knob, it comes up on the screen to let you see what's going on, but it also displays the temperature on the bottom as well. Very deep open cubby here. I would like to see a door. I know that's like my thing. I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, don't you say that about a lot of vehicles? Yes, I would like to see a door here when it's not being in use, but you do have 2 USBs, a 12 volt, and then with this Acadia, you have heated seats and, thank you, ventilated seats as well. So that's a really nice thing to see. Lots of beige though. My problem would be is that if your hands are dirty and you're touching in this area, you better go get yourself some car cleaning supplies because this is going to get dirty over time. What a handsome shifter. That's probably the first time I've ever said that in my life. GMC logo. I like the chrome at the top. I like the brown leather with the contrast stitching. You got the faux wood. And then here you have a different control, which will show you when you come to the business side, you could go through your different modes, whether it's trailering, whether you're going through snow and ice, those types of things. Nice armrest. Open it up. Lots of space, but there's no USB. So all your USB and 12 volt connectivity has to take place up here. It can't take place inside here because there isn't one. Seats, more beige, but they're comfortable. I like the design. I like the Denali embroidery on them. Overall, the back portion is soft. Lower portion feels great, and they're long enough to where I think even the shorter people are going to appreciate that they're not too long, but us taller people can have that support that we need. You look up top, you're going to have not a panoramic sunroof, but dual sunroof. So you have a single sunroof here, and then a single one back there for your backseat passengers so that they can get their vitamin D. Why don't you come on over here and I'll show you that business end that I've been talking about. All right, guys, here we are behind the business end. Really like how comfortable it is. I love the Denali logo down here on the lower sill. You could see all of the ways you could move this seat. And that's the thing is that it's all about a nice, comfortable, great looking ride, and that's what you're going to get with this Acadia Denali. Steering wheel, love the size. I'm actually not too upset that it's brown. It blends in very nicely with everything. There's that wonderful logo, GMC logo with the Denali on the actual trim, and it looks just like the grill. I think that's really cool. Where I'm going to zonk it are these buttons. I can't stand these buttons. Why is it that in other GMC products they have thumb wheel operation? Wouldn't it be cheaper just to have one set of controls instead of all these other different things? You know how I said that the shifter was handsome? Check out the instrumentation. Very classy, very well done. I love the way that they have an analog tach, but within the analog tach is a digital temperature gauge. You go over to the other side and you're going to have an analog fuel gauge and coolant temp. So the other one's for your oil, this one's for your coolant, and you have a digital voltmeter there, which is very nice. In the center, a large speedometer, looks good, love the graphics. If you use the different buttons, you could actually toggle through information that's in the center of the speedometer. So that's a really nice feature as well. One thing I showed you before, and here, let me show you as Tom comes in, you could toggle, see how it's got your remaining oil life, you got your tire pressure. Oh, we better fill some air in that lower right. Tom, can you go get that real quick? But all this different data so that when you could go take your drive to Mount McKinley, you could do it in this. You even have transmission fluid temperature. Nice to see. You'd have gradient levels. So this thing really gets the job done. You have your knob down here, which you could adjust to go into your different modes, which is nicely done. Let's go ahead things are really nice and comfortable up here. Let's go see what the back seats are like in this Acadia. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, back seat time. We're gonna check out what it's like in this Acadia Denali. Before I go any further, I haven't said it yet, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. How much does this cost? MSRP, $45,000. It's a lot of vehicle for the price, I'll be honest, especially when you look at all the appointments. Let's talk about back seat. Very interesting layout. So you have two totally separate seats. I would have loved this back when I was a kid. I was the oldest of 6 kids. I would love to have my own seat. The heck with everybody else. Let them go in the cargo area. They can lay down on top of one another. I like the own seat. Here's my problem though. You know how I feel about these captain chair armrests. I mean, it's not as bad as in some of the other cars that I've driven, but it's not very wide. So I wish they would just make it a little bit wider, but it's really easy to use. It's not that ratcheting kind where you're like, you know, it takes like 20 hours to get it down. It's just a real easy movement. As you come inside, I like this command center. So you have rear AC. I can adjust the temperature from the back seat. You got different modes to send the air on different places. And remember, your vents are right up here, which is nice. I like it when they don't just put the vents on the bottom. I like it when they take them and put them in the ceiling. Really allows you to get proper cooling so that your kids aren't, you know, making you want to pull your hair out on a hot day. Back to the command center, 2 USBs. Thank you. You have 2 seats, 2 USBs. You have that 120 right there. Here's a problem. Look at the gap on this. I like the idea of a drawer. That's kind of a good idea. I don't like the way that when you close it, it doesn't close flush. That to me on a Denali product needs to close flush. Another thing is if you have kids that like to be a pain, they can pull the whole thing out and, you know, hit you while you're driving. So I don't know about that, but I do like the storage use back there, especially for like snacks. It would be cool if it wasn't lined with felt, because maybe you could even put some juice boxes back there or something like that. Seats. Before I talk about this seat, let's talk about my seat. You could actually recline it a little bit. Where do they not have these seats back when I was younger? I mean, I would have loved to have gone on a long trip. You have your sunroof up there while you're just chilling in the back. Seat's really easy to make it come back up and whatnot. And then how do you get into the back seat? That's the big question. So if you want to get in that third row, you just pull up on that, and then the seat moves right out of the way so that you can get full access to the back of the seat. I'm going to have Tom back out so that I'm going to squeeze back here. So remember, 6 feet tall. Don't do this while you're driving, kids. Well, hopefully you're not driving, kids. But so come back here. What is it like? It's actually not too shabby. I have plenty of headroom. I have my AC vents down back here so I could get cooled, and I'm not too squished. So very nice, and you still got wonderful leather. The only problem is that when it comes to armrest back here, you're not going to enjoy yourself. This is a very hard plastic, but I know why they put it back here. I mean, it's going to get a lot of wear. You do have USB capability, which is very nice to see all the way back here in no man's land of the GMC Acadia, but let's go ahead and probably check out what's important to you besides the interior up front. Let's go check out the cargo area in the back. All right, guys, another important part, probably one of the most important if you're going to get a vehicle like this, is what can you put in that cargo area. So it's real simple to open, and it opens very quickly, which I'm very happy to see. You know, some of these, it's like Old Man River opening up a back cargo area. Now, with the seats fully up, not a lot of space. You wouldn't even be able to fit your clubs back here if these seats are up. Underneath here, you do have some storage capability, which is nice to see, especially if you are a large family. I'm going to have Tom whip it around over here. You have even a 12 volt, which is nice to see back here. So if you're at the beach and you got to inflate that raft because the kids are saying we want to go in the water, you don't have to use your lungs. You could use a nice air pump and get it done without any mess. So how do we get the seats down? It's real simple. You pull on that, down she goes. So if you don't have a large family, lucky you, but if you do have a smaller family, you can leave those permanently down, and there's all the space. Tom will show you just how much space is back there, and it's really easy to do. Another thing that I realized after, you know, doing some car reviews is the reason why they use this band material is so that you could grab it and then pull it back up without having to, you know, dive in head first like Michael Phelps or something like that. But you could see the usability. One seat up, one seat down. What's your flavor? But anyways, let's go ahead, close this cargo back, and we're gonna take it for a spin. Let's go do it. All right, guys, we're in the 2019 GMC Acadia, the Denali. Right off the bat, I'm not surprised that I'm loving just how I feel inside this vehicle. The appointments are great. I love the materials that are used. And when you're driving it, you're not noticing the sea of beige as much as when we were just looking at it and reviewing it at a standstill. Looking down at the dash, the graphics, it almost looks just like, that speedometer almost looks like it belongs in the Corvette, believe it or not. Just the graphics that they use, the font quality, very, very nice. Visibility is great out the front. Even with the rear, you have some passengers sitting in the back, you're still going to be able to navigate really well through that rear glass back there. And the V6 has just enough. You step on it and it goes. So you're going to get a nice blend of having some power, because that's the thing, I'll be honest. When it comes to CUVs and SUVs and all that nonsense, some of them, power is an afterthought. With this, you get it all. You get the class of the Denali package. You're going to get all the features that you could ever dream of. Plus, it's got some power to where it gets out of its own way. And like I was telling with some viewers that we were commenting back and forth, I'm not talking about a drag SUV. I'm just talking about something that has a little bit of pep to it. Seats are comfortable. Like to see that they're ventilated and heated. That's another feature that I think just across the board needs to be offered in more vehicles. But I think they did the perfect job with the amount of material that they use inside underneath the leather. It's just enough to where you feel comfortable, but it's also supportive so that you don't feel like you're sitting on a waterbed or something like that. Steering feels great. What can I say about this? The list goes on and on. I mean, I like everywhere I'm touching. I like the use of the material. Just me personally, I would probably want darker, you know, I would want a darker color rather than the beige. But, you know, the white with the beige, it really looks well with the brown. I think the brown just breaks it up just enough perfectly. Very smooth, very quiet. And I also noticed that you're sitting at just a really good height. You're not too low, but you're not too overbearing either. It's really in a nice spot to where you'll feel comfortable in this vehicle. And then of course you're going to get the whole plethora of all the safety features, blind spot monitoring and all that good stuff. So it's going to keep you safe at the end of the day, which is also important as well. And for GMC, they really value not only good working vehicles, but also safe vehicles. Guys, we're going to go ahead and pitch it into this right-hand bend. We have some nice breakup. You can feel the suspension doing its thing, but there's no fuss about it. On the throttle. Nicely done. I mean, and I'm not flooring it by any means. If you think I'm putting the pedal to the metal, no. I'm pressing down on that loud pedal enough to allow that transmission to kick down, but it has just enough. There's really nothing else I would do engine-wise with this vehicle. The one zonk we'll go back to that I mentioned earlier is just, you know me and doors. I like to have a lid or some type of finished product over this lower area in the center console. And I really think that the screen is a good size, the infotainment screen. The font looks good, and the words that they use, the lettering, it's nice and large, which is good. I've been noticing that as I get older, I do like larger letters when I'm looking at things. Brake feel is great. You got those 20-inch wheels doing their job. But as you can see, like when we turned in, the way it took its heft, it put it on the left side and it just held it there nicely. So it's not like you're wallowing through a turn maybe in some other vehicles. This one really feels planted, which allows you just to focus on the task at hand, enjoying your drive, getting to where you need to go. And in the end, if you're going to take this across the state or across the country, this would be a perfect fit for you and your family. And at the MSRP that it comes in at, you can't beat it. I really was shocked when I saw the window sticker. I was expecting something around 50,000 or more. So it's really nice to see that price point wise, they hit the nail on the head. Let's do a little acceleration here. Nicely done. I mean, you don't want to floor it right off the bat because you will get a little bit of spin, but that tells you that you do have that power when readily available. And then once you're away from everybody and you just want to take it easy and cruise, it's just really nice just how smooth this SUV is. And you don't feel, I think it's a great size. You know, if you don't want to go Yukon, I think this is a great part of their lineup to where you can have the usable space, but you don't feel like you're in this big, cumbersome vehicle that may be a little too much to navigate depending on where you live. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, and I'll see you back in a split second at Dick Norris Buick GMC. All right, guys, been another wonderful day here at Dick Norris Buick GMC. Definitely gotta give a big thank you, big shout out to Adam Norris, the whole Norris family, and everybody here at the dealership. Just open up their doors of Rady's Rides. If these are the types of things you like to see on the channel, leave a comment in that comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, click that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. Check out all my different forms of social media. You know what they're called. You want some merch? Click the link in the description right down there in the bottom. Takes you right to Spreadshirt. You can help yourself to whatever you want. Speaking of helping ourselves, there's a lot of people here that want to help themselves to Tom's Arms. We're going to get those casted and engraved. It's going to be added to the merch store. We're probably going to get them bronze or titanium, your choice. So thank you, Tom, for all your hard work and dedication to the channel. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.